Hey folks, Apex Shaver here. I'm the guy who Doug DeMuro says has lots of quirks and features. I've got that video. It's around here somewhere. But either way, if you follow my content, you'll soon find out what he's talking about. Definitely have a lot of quirks. Hopefully some positive features that you'll enjoy. I'm a 60 plus year old sim racing enthusiast. Been doing it for a while. But if you're looking for a total alien type channel, you're probably in the wrong place. You might want to go check out, I don't know, Jardier, Dave Cam, Emery, somebody like that. But if you're just looking for entertaining sim racing content, this could be the place for you. And I'm not going to be coaching you or coaching you into pushing certain buttons, doing certain things. Hey, it's your own free will. You'll do what you're going to do or not. So now let's get on with the next video. This little backstory here is actually been trying to taunt me a bit. We just met up. I've been looking for somebody to run with. And I saw him behind me. I didn't even realize he was behind me there for a while. But anyway, he got knocked off and whatever. So here we're going. And usually what we do is, most of the time it's a bunch of guys. There's maybe two, could be two. I got a friend we run with all the time. Me and him run together all the time. And then also, but we usually try and find a group if we can of people to run with. And you get, you run maybe 80, 90% of what you would normally run. You don't run full out. That way you kind of keep everybody together. And then, you go a few miles and there'll be a point and you feel a little weight and let everybody gather back up again. And kind of makes it fun that way. But every once in a while you want to kind of just get on it. And I was looking this morning for somebody to just really roll with and couldn't find anybody for a long time. I was about to give up and this guy comes around this P1. I thought, oh, cool. P1, I got the Huracan Performante, which is a badass car. A P1 it is not, however. Equal drivers, and you probably should, the P1 guy should probably take the win, I would say. Most people probably agree with that. But the Huracan is amazing. It's very stable. And anyway, long story short, basically, so he is one of those dudes. He's really good, and he runs here. I've seen him every once in a while. I've never got to run with him. I have seen him a couple of times. He wasn't the P1 when I saw him because I remember his name, a little short name with initials, and I get the feeling he's this kind of guy who, he pretty much dominates. He's spanking people around in this P1, and he kind of waits for a challenge. He didn't want to run with me at first. I think one time I was going to do something, he was there, and he didn't want to run. I don't know, whatever. But either way, so I decided we're just going to do a good run here, and I'm give him some crap. But I wasn't being, I waited for him in times. It wasn't like a full-out race or anything like that. But after I looked back at the video, I realized he rage quit. I looked back and realized, man, this guy's hell-bent. He couldn't believe that I was going to give him a challenge. So at first, he's just like, oh, okay, well, I got to put my head down now with this guy, I'd be serious with this dude. And so he did that, but then he was having a hard time hanging with me. And so I just kind of put it on him and just tried to be clean and smooth and everything. And this is kind of what transpired. And so right now we're just doing a little deal here, and I'm making a mistake right here, right now. And one thing here is, you're going to hit the wall. I don't care what you do, how good you are. You're going to hit the wall. You're going to go in. There's a thing called Oblivion. If you haven't played on this necessary, this is you can get this from Race Department, by the way, LA Canyons, and it's amazing. It's I don't know how many miles, a lot of miles of just replicas of LA Canyons, and it's amazing. But the thing is, the vegetation along the road and some of the poles, they're non-existent. So you utilize what you have. I'm a sim guy. I love the sim and the cars and everything. But, in this case, it's one of those things you get to have the privilege of doing in a sim is you can act like, you're on the road and you don't have to worry about killing families. So the cars they go on their path, the AI cars, but they don't react to you. They don't freak out if you're coming at them and move in your path. So that you have that, and so you don't. They're in a pretty linear line, but they do move. And so one of the things on the next video was going to be this video. It was going to be a tips and tricks video, but I've had so many editing things. I'm still trying to work on that, and I've also been really sick. And so I haven't got a chance to, that's a lot of editing work that I haven't had a chance to do, and my equipment's not right yet. So this came up, and I thought, boy, I haven't had a video of me driving at all since I started my channel. I've got 300 subscribers, and I thank you for that, man. That's amazing. I can't even believe that. That blows my doors. But I want to give you guys some decent content, and when this happened, I thought, after Rage quit, I thought, this will be a fun little just thing to watch, right? And narrate this and just see how this goes. So that's what we're doing. But my original idea was to give a tips and tricks video of running canyons like this and stuff, and things that you do, like hit the wall there, which is not in my tips. In fact, my tips and tricks is first thing is going to be the main thing you try and do is not hit other people and not hit the walls. And that's kind of like a thing. It's going to happen, but you try and minimize that as much as possible. Here's this first big area here. He's got the lead on me here, and we got a turn coming up, and he's going to try and make this turn, and I don't think he realized that I was ready for that turn. Maybe a little better than he was, and he lost the back end, and I took him. He's starting to get a little frustrated right now, let's say, and he's like, oh man, because that was going to be, I'm waiting for him right now to lift. I lifted for him, so he got back on my ass. Because I'm not like in this blow the guy away mode right now. I'm having fun running, like we normally do, but we're running closer to 100% than we normally probably would. And so anyway, I know, especially after watching back from he's like, that was gonna be his moment where he's just gonna pull away from me. And I touched him barely. I didn't need my mirrors anyway, but I'm pretty sure that was his thing. He was gonna make that move there, and he was gonna walk off and leave me. Because that's a double lane fast part, and if you got a P1 there, man, I mean, it's hard to keep up with him. Anyway, so now he's pretty frustrated. So I'm trying to just kind of be smooth and clean here. But my original video was the tips and tricks, and then I thought, well, if I'm going to start out with a tips and tricks video, who's going to want to listen to me? I mean, what the heck, tips and tricks? Who am I? You know what I mean? And I'm nobody. I just a couple months ago, I got hooked in this LA Canyon. I started kind of doing it every once in a while when I get a chance, and a lot of group runs here mostly. There's a great group of guys on here. In fact, if any of you guys are watching, you know who you are. There's a group they're from Europe though, and I have to at different times a day, and they run 10, 12, 15, 20 guys together, and they'll stop and wait a few miles at little locations and let everybody gather up and go again. So there's some fast, smart guys. They've been doing it a long time. They know more than I do. But I did put together an amazing, I come out of that corner perfect. I hit that car, and then I hit that rail straight, so I didn't have to lift or turn at all. I was able to accelerate fully all the way up that hill, and that was a little bit of a problem for him, I think, right there, because I pull away. Now he's starting to get really frustrated. Now I made a mistake there. Normally that would have been death, but since we had the rail there, we saved it. So that happened. That's part of this. You're not going to be perfect all the time, but anyway. So and I thought, well, maybe if I can, put this on, you can at least see that I can drive a little bit, and maybe that I might have some tips that might be valuable to some people. So I thought, well, that's better off anyway, and this is really entertaining. I'll just put this up. But the idea of some of the tips and tricks, by the way, he's I think I might wait for him again here yet. I'm not sure, but either way, so just an idea of some of the tips and tricks, and it's not going to be like regular driving, things, racing things, because I figure if you're at a level to be able to run pretty good, you're going to know all that stuff, the basic driving, braking, trail braking, I don't know, I can tell all that stuff, right? But there's one main regular, just like driving thing, I think that is more important on here than on just it's important in any racing on any track. It's one of the most important things, but I think on this track, due to the traffic and the unpredictable nature of it, that it's looking in the distance. I'm looking so far as I can. If I'm looking all the way to that corner to see if there's any traffic coming, because that's going to change how I enter and exit the corners, and then also how to get through people like that, and then hit the wall again with a mistake there. But see, I'm not spinning out. That's another tip and trick that I have. There's everybody's going to make mistakes. Everybody's going to do stupid crap or get offline or get into a car or whatever. But there's things of how the people that continue on and are the ones who are able to get out of it successfully or get out of it and move on. Not just some people throw their hands up, whatever, and that's it for them. No, you can push through stuff, and there's ways and tricks of doing that, and that's what some of the stuff I'm going to show you. One of them is what I call, and he's back on me now, so it's starting to get a little tense here. I'm kind of talking this and the thing at the same time, so I hope you guys are like multitasking. But anyway, one of them is what I call dynamic apexing, and that is because I don't look at the cars as cars on the track. I look at them as moving apexes, and so depending on where I come up to a corner, and I'm going to turn on, you'll notice, if you've been watching, you'll notice I'm really close, like there, to the cars that are on the AI cars. And so that when I turn, I'm turning as tight as I can on that car. I'm not turning in the line apex, I'm using the car. So I'm actually on entrances and exits sometimes changing my apex or dynamic racing line to a dynamic line that changes depending on what position those cars are relative to you in the corner. or even the exit and entrance of the corner. So, and there's a way to do that to maximize the road for you. Anyway, that's one of the tips. Just a little sneak peek there of the kind of tips that I'm going to give. And I think they're really valuable. So let's get back to the race because this is getting pretty wild here. So he's getting ready. He's going to make a last-ditch effort. So he's got that P1 power. We're going to come up to a straightaway in a minute. And I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but basically, I think it's right here. He's going to try to make a move. He needs to run on me with that P1 here. There's a right-hand turn up here. We both know it. And I'm trying to take it wide. He's going to take it narrow. Watch what happens. I mean, I got everything out of that, man. But I come straight out. Watch the radar. He just lifted over the left and tapped me. And I went through that whole thing outside the car and everything, but it was a racing incident. But if anything, it was his fault because I didn't move my car. My car was straight out. So now he's really frustrated because, see, that was his move, man. That he had put, I guarantee this dude was thinking that he got that run, and he was thinking that he couldn't quite get enough run to get in front of me, but he had the inside line. And so that was it for him. And now he's going to dump it again right there. I split those tires. I think I took both mirrors off. It was hilarious. But anyway, and now watch, he's over there. See him disappear? He rage quit big time right there, man. It's hilarious. So that's the only reason I did this whole thing like that and came back. I would never, this guy, by the way, dude, if you're watching, well, you're not watching now probably, but if you're watching, I respect the dude. He's a fast son of a gun. The dude's an amazing driver, man. Anybody can run that fast at the games like that. You're pretty dang good. I don't care what you're doing, you know, what you're driving in, but whatever. But anyway, that made it funny, and that's why I went back and, you know, did and said the things I did about it was because at first I didn't realize it was happening. You know, I'm just going along and I'm waiting for him and stuff like that, like a normal situation. And, you know, then when I walked back on his view, and I couldn't show that because it was really, I don't know why, like you go in the other person's car, for some reason on my system at least, it's sketchy. The hands are jumping around, you can't. And, you know, he's not quite a smooth type of driver. He's more of a little more, you know, he's on a little bit more on the edge as far as, he'll let the back end come out. So, I don't know, just, he's got more hand movement. Like, if you watch his in car and watch mine, it's night and day kind of how the steering is. But that's just, everybody's has a different style, you know. And so I couldn't show that. But basically, you could tell that he was trying so hard, you know, and look, oh my gosh, how many times have been there? I got a guy that's you know, really fast and he's really consistent and you're just trying and then you're even like, it wasn't my fault, you know, it's always your fault because you're going faster than you can because it's not like, not always, because sometimes there's human players coming the other way and you don't know where they're going to be in the lane, so you have to deal with those. But another thing is weird, the maps on here, on the replay show all the traffic too, and they don't when you're in the game. All I see on the map is humans, and I don't see all that traffic one stuff, and there's no name tags even over them. And you know, so you're just the only reason I showed this like this is because it's all I can do right now. My intention is to have live narration while I'm driving, and you see what I'm seeing on the screen at that time. I'm not there yet, but that's what I'm going to have, and then have pedal cams so you can see like when I'm heel toe shifting or you know whatever. You can watch my feet, and I do all my own blipping and everything too. Even in cars, if I can turn it off, I turn it off. I do my own blipping. So I want you to see all that. That's what I want for you guys, because I think that'd be really entertaining with narration live. And you know, I'm not going to be like Jardy, whatever. I can just focus totally on that. I have to be careful when and where I talk at, because otherwise I'm toasted. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want it to be. So anyway, this whole LA Canyons thing is really fun, and I thought maybe there's maybe 100 people on there at a time sometimes between the two rooms I see, main rooms, but there should be a lot more people on this. This is a crazy, awesome, fun thing, and that's the other thing I wanted to show you was how fun it was. You know, so anyway, my next video hopefully about in a couple weeks, and it's going to be tips and tricks for this. And let me tell you, I got some really good ones that you might not have thought about, like maybe the dynamic apexes. I think I might have made that up, at least for me at this time. I've never heard anything like it, but it's how I drive. It's how I look at the cars on the road in a way, and it'll help you on any sim. I mean, Forza's not as realistic, obviously, but you know, if a lot of these principles are the same. They'll work when you're, Horizon. You know, we have other traffic and stuff like that. So any kind of a, you know, open world game or any kind of driving like these tips can help you. You know, so you just have to look at how it is in that particular sim relative to this. But most of these are kind of generic, would overlap any of that. So I'm running on way more than I want, but this is my first actual driving video, and I wanted it to be entertaining. Hopefully it is. Look forward to the next one for the tips and tricks. And like I said, I'm really, man, if I could get out a week, I'm good. I want to make sure that every tip and trick I have, that I have a driven example that you can see what I'm saying. It's not just like, like here, I think the dynamic apexes that I mentioned it, and you've seen how I was driving through the other traffic, and you can see what I mean about that. Because if there's a car, like say you're entering into a left-hander, and normally the left-hander has a tight curb on the left that you can click over into. Well, you can if there's a car coming the other way, and it changes that. So rather than wait for it or slow down and then hit that, make him your entry. And then you got another one coming around, and you get as close as you can to him. Like I said, if you watch this back, you'll see that I'm intentionally getting as close as I can to other cars without hitting them, so that I can get the maximum track while I'm running. Anyway, way longer than I wanted. Appreciate you watching. Tune in for my next one. It's going to be great, and it's going to get better. Have a good one.